Dinosaurs
Let's see what she's got.
Dinosaurs in love. Dinosaurs having a party.
Tell you what, that's looking good. That's looking really good. Miss Marianne! Oh!
Now looking back with the knowledge we have that in fact the Astros were using a sign-stealing scheme in the postseason, boy, deep in its soul, that's gotta hurt to know that that game was not played on a level playing field. And it's interesting, when I went back and looked at this game, and again, you're looking at it in hindsight, more knowledge we have now than we had then. Kershaw threw 51 sliders and curveballs that day and got 0 swings and misses on them.
There's got to be a better way.
Hey, moms, have you had it with the same old sandwich-making routine? Then try new Stenson's Mayo Stirred. Mayo Stirred combines mayonnaise and mustard into one easy serving jar. See the yellow lines and the white lines? That means Mayo Stirred is working to save you time.
It cuts sandwich-making time in half.
And Mayo Stirred works with every type of bread, from white to wheat.
How are the sandwiches, kids?
Delicious. Mom, you use separate jars of mustard and mayonnaise.
Stenson's Mayo Stirred. Costs a little more, but saves a lot of time.
The day Kobe gave my respect was the guys were complaining. I said, Shaq, Kobe's not passing the ball. I said, I'll talk to him. I said, Kobe, there's no I in team. And Kobe said, I know, but there's an in me in that motherfucker. So I went back.
All right. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. You want to harmonize with me?
No, I don't.
No.
No. Show your face, Dudley.
What's that?
Put your headphones on.
Oh, yeah. Is this going to work?
Is what going to work?
I feel like it's not going to work.
What's that?
Oh, hold on. Let's do this too. Turn off the speaker so there's no echo.
Oh, that was what it was. Yeah.
Well, I can't hear you fine. Now, do you want to harmonize with me? Do you? Fun. Let's get started.
I want to just turn this off really quick.
Hello, Fantinuum.
Jill.
Corey. Hello, all.
Hello, Lewis.
That is me. I am your stump.
Hey, you old Carter. How's it going?
This guy gave me grief for a while because I wouldn't put anything under, like when you enter StreamYard, you're supposed to type in who the hell you are. And I have done so, and he doesn't use it now. So I'm not doing it anymore. I'm not doing it anymore.
No,
done.
Stop.
Done. It's over.
Stop. Don't be that.
I like to be definitive. I think that it's how we make decisions.
Is it?
Yeah. You're like, I'm finished with you, and you just throw them away forever. Like,
well, the problem is that when you're doing those these ticker
turns
it off.
Oh, right. Right. Well, you let that thing run all show, so we don't. At least in the beginning, let's see who we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I like that. I really appreciate that, and I think that's a good idea. So let's get that going right
I'm
now.
a thinker.
All right. So firstly, welcome everyone to another episode this Tuesday evening of Fantastic Comics Presents.
Oh.
This is our 5th episode, and it is entitled "Bye Bye That Dan Didio Guy."
See, that's not what I read when I read it initially.
What'd
but
you read?
Something
you read dildo also, didn't you?
How did you know?
Because Ryan Hudson is on Twitter. You know, he's like, I don't know on me because I plugged this one, and he's all this Dan Dildo guy. I made a reference of smoking marijuana.
Oh,
in the post, like we're gonna just get in the weeds and smoke this thing out.
That's good. That's a good call.
And he and Ryan was like, "Oh, what are you talking about? This Dan Dildo?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't know if he's being funny or mistyping, but I'll just go with it and say, oh, well, it's the guy that got canned."
Who is he?
We'll talk about that in a sec.
Is he a comics related guy or is it baseball?
Yeah, comic books.
Okay.
My name is Yule Carter. I own Fantastic Comics. They are the sponsor of this show. That's the title of the show. Oh, wait, let me get this up.
You're the sponsor?
Not me. Fantastic Comics is. I'm Yule.
Okay, yeah.
Let's get it straight, man. And you can follow me on Twitter at Big Blue Yule. That'd be like Big Blue
Balls.
Yule.
Balls.
And the guy over there is
Hello.
ATN. He's Lul Stamp on Instagram.
Yeah.
What do you post as Lul Stamp?
Mostly just stuff that I bake.
Oh, really? I don't think I follow you.
And stuff about the podcast. That's all.
I only follow Paperback Goldmine.
You don't have to do either. I don't care.
But I want to see what you bake.
I made cinnamon rolls for Christmas. I made some wheat bread recently. I need to make more wheat bread, to be completely honest, because I am out.
Just because you're out?
It's good to have bread in the house, man. It's always good to have a little bit of bread in the house. If you want eggs for breakfast in the morning, do you use toast or do you just pretend that you had toast with your eggs?
I see what you're saying.
Because I like to have real toast, not fake toast, not imaginary toast, the real deal.
I had a bagel today and it looked like it was toasted.
Ooh. But
it was cold and chewy like it wasn't.
Ooh.
How do you do that?
You toast it and then you throw it in the fridge.
Yeah. Really. Hi, Diablo Hashcraft. How's it going?
Hi.
That's exactly what.
Maybe. What are you trying to insinuate?
Wait, what?
Huh? I don't know.
I don't know what you're doing.
Dude, I've gotten hooked on this show about UK border customs. It's amazing.
Oh, really?
Oh my God. It's like.
Tell me about it.
Okay. So if you're white and you go on vacation and you fly back to the UK and you go through either of their major London airports and you bring back too many cigarettes, they'll take them away.
Really?
But if you're black and you come back from vacation from Haiti or Jamaica or Mallorca or even some of the Spanish party islands, they will run you through an X-ray machine. They will not stop until they find some semblance of, they'll check your toothbrush. It doesn't matter. It's pretty obvious what they're up to. But at the same time, they're mostly showing the people that they do catch trying to smuggle drugs into the country. And it's fascinating. Absolutely fascinating what people will do, what links they'll go. I feel bad for them when they get caught, though, because people don't generally do stuff like that just because they're bad. They're a lot of poor people, and they acknowledge it on the show. There's a lot of poor people that are like desperate, and they do these things.
They said cigarettes.
That's what
cigarettes.
That's what all the white people get caught for, because in the EU, like Turkey, right? For example, a carton of cigarettes for $2. I would never have quit. I mean, it would just been like, whatever, cancer.
It's like I'm losing money if I don't smoke this. If I
Yeah,
don't buy
kind of,
these
right?
cigarettes.
So they'll go to places where cigarettes are super, super cheap, and then they'll try to import them and then sell them.
Oh, I see
like,
what you're saying.
It's
You
a
made it sound
thing.
like you only anytime you have a cigarette.
Huh?
I mean, how many cigarettes do you have to have on you
Dude,
before you get in trouble?
You're allowed to bring back 1 carton, right? And there are people who have 3 suitcases full of cartons.
And
then
you're in trouble.
They get them all. Yeah, but the only thing that happens to them is they get them taken away.
Look, we just like. Oh, I see. Yeah. Well.
And then the people who are smuggling cocaine, they get years.
Yeah, well.
Years.
One's probably got a little bit more.
Except for the white guy. There was a white guy who was smuggling in 2 grams. That's not much, right?
2 grams is nothing. Yeah.
He got a suspended sentence for 18 months or something like that. But everybody else is like 5 years, 7 years. Throw them away. Throw them away.
There you go, everybody.
But if I was from Jamaica, I'd probably rather spend my sentence in England.
And what program was this again?
I think it's called Customs.
Customs.
Yeah, I found it on you. I don't know how I found it. It just showed up one day, and I'm like, "Hey, I've smuggled stuff. Let's check this out."
I've smuggled stuff. Tell me about your smuggling days, ATN.
I don't know what the statute of limitations is on that yet, so I'm gonna hold off for just a minute. Okay,
All right,
I'm gonna look that up.
Can you describe it as if it was a Barry Gifford novel?
I don't know what that means.
You've never read Barry Gifford?
No.
He has very colorful characters and very crazy situations, but I don't know if the story is like, as far as a narrative, I don't know if it's always so great. But as far as the setup, he's pretty good. He's one of those guys that can put like Idaho and another person and a name together, or Tennessee and something. And I feel like if I was a writer and I was doing something like that, it would just come out hack. But Gifford has a way of like, just putting the right state, right city with the person's name.
Got it.
Kind
of like Tallahassee Coates.
Yeah.
Isn't his name Ta-Nehisi or something like that?
Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Yeah, but he could go by Tallahassee.
Tallahassee. Well, if we were writing a character,
maybe that's his stripper name.
Tallahassee. Ooh, Tallahassee Coates.
That's his daughter's stripper name.
Wow. Poor Ta-Nehisi.
Does he have a daughter?
Let's just say he does.
I hear about him periodically through channels way outside of the realm of comic books.
Really?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember where.
He's a political guy.
He is, and I think I heard them talking about him on Joe Rogan a while back.
What were they saying about him on Joe Rogan?
It had something to do with the work that he does, like in Florida. Isn't he a professor down there?
I'm sure he does something with schools, but I don't know.
I'm not sure either. I don't remember.
He just writes. I think it was The Nation is the paper that he wrote for.
Oh, okay, that might be it.
He also wrote some books, based off of
I knew about the books. Yeah, I knew about.
And he's popular, and he got the job to work over at Marvel when they wanted to restart the Black Panther series because it was time to get that ball rolling because there's a movie on the way. But in our store, it sold really well because of Ta-Nehisi Coates, not because of the movie coming out.
Because of his name.
Right.
Him as quality writer.
Well, I mean, we're a college town.
Back in the day when we were working on videos and we did there was a Green Lantern. What did he write that was like kind of a futuristic superhero story?
Black Panther.
It was Black Panther.
It was Black Panther, yeah.
Okay. Did you read that? How was it? Was it any good?
Still going on. The current storyline that is taking place right now is actually the end of the intergalactic storyline. But I bowed out a long time ago.
Like that?
there's a lot of good action.
Uh-huh.
The art
Bang,
was
bang.
excellent.
Bang bang.
And as far as like getting bogged down in story, he Ta-Nehisi Coates is having a problem, as far as I can tell, of telling a story and telling action also. When you're marrying the two, it should kind of, even when you're sitting down talking, it should feel like there's something exciting going on. And a lot of times in his books, it feels like, all right, it's now I'm going to tell the action story, and there's not like a whole lot of meat.
Uh-huh.
And then all the other meat is going into stuff that,
we don't want to know where the meat's going.
Yeah, well, nobody really
So
wants to know.
some people smuggle meat
Mhm.
into the country, and sometimes that gets taken away too. Yeah, so let's talk about the coronavirus real quick.
Okay.
Since it's come up in chat, I've noticed, and no, I do not have the coronavirus. Did you see the minister of like health from Iran has it?
Whoa.
He's on TV like dabbing at his forehead with a handkerchief and like, everything's fine, don't worry, our country will be fine.
Fantanuum told me that this is like some Stephen King thing that was concocted in the basement of some laboratory or something like that.
I've heard the same thing about Lyme disease.
Lyme disease.
Yeah, because it appeared
Yeah.
in the town of Lyme on the East Coast somewhere, some year, and just showed up, and now it's like running amok. And nobody knew how to identify. Yeah, it's whatever. Who knows, man? Who knows? But I remember when there were like 12 cases of coronavirus, and like people were like, "There's 12 cases of coronavirus," and I was like, "Huh." So I was like, "Hey, Phil, you hear about the coronavirus?" And he's like, "Whatever." The next week there were 600, and now there's like 80,000. Is that right?
I think it's a lot more than that. I think it's ridiculous, and there's been a lot of deaths already. I mean, this is a big deal.
Are you nervous? You live
I'm
in a
not
place.
nervous.
You live in a place where you should be nervous, right?
Well,
You live in a
so there was a guy across
busy
the
area.
street. So we live in a very heavily populated Asian community, Chinese specifically.
Did you say? Okay, yeah. I was reading and listening at the same time, and those things combined into Akira. It was crazy.
I was one time recently walking the dog, and there was some guy outside on his patio, his porch, and he's like, I was like, God, this guy is coughing up a lung.
Gizmo, run!
Get the
run!
We're dead!
Get out of there!
Get out of here! No, well, I mean, I just make sure to breathe through my nose.
That doesn't help.
It might not be now is when I want to take a big old gulp of air with my mouth lungs,
God. Yeah. I mean, what you need to do is like get a giant enclosure for yourself that is a giant water pipe, right? So all of the air you're breathing in and out has to go through the water first.
Oh man, personal bongs.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Fish helmet.
Yeah, that'd be great.
It would be great.
Are
you actually nervous about the coronavirus though? You do live in a very traveled and populated area.
I would really appreciate. People are going to get upset. I'd appreciate if we pay attention to where people are coming from.
Okay, so you heard that the CDC said do not bring those Americans home, and they were overruled.
Oh, sorry. And they were overruled.
They were overruled, and now there's 54 cases in the United States instead of 15.
Yeah, well, you're not welcome at Fantastic Comics until you're taken care of.
You should have a sign on the door. No coronavirus.
No coronavirus.
Get out. That'd be fun, man. Everyone's welcome in Berkeley, except for coronavirus patients. You can fuck off.
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
You were the one that used the F word in the
I
first
did.
5 minutes.
I did.
So I don't feel like
we're 19 minutes in.
Yeah, I don't feel like it matters for me.
And I mean, whatever. I took my Shaq's a different story altogether. He can do it if he wants.
Yeah, it's on your show though.
Mm-hmm.
It was the F word in the first 5 minutes of your show.
I couldn't help that.
I
don't know how to bleep things yet.
Oh, it's fun. You'll enjoy it when you find it. It's good times.
No.
I don't like to bleep stuff, but I don't like to censor, but at the same time, I'm really kind of torn. That whole thing about people get so scared of the repercussions of saying something that like I cut the word retarded out of mine and Jill's podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But like I grew up saying that's retarded as though it means stupid, right? And I understand that offends people, but I mean,
the problem is
sorry.
When
it's not what I mean.
Yeah, exactly. And I think most often people know when people mean something a certain way.
Yeah, but they also don't care.
It's not a slanderous name. It's not like
witnessed it firsthand, I'm sure.
Sure thing. They have a problem with it. And therefore all of society must change.
They don't really have a problem with it though. That's the thing. It's just
it's because they're placing it. I joke. I would always joke in the store because I feel it's funnier to say it this way. You're making Sarah Palin cry right now when you use the R word, when you say retarded. But I listen to plenty of shows that love to say the R word.
I think it's a fine word. And you know what?
It makes
Most
sense.
of the time, I use it correctly.
Yeah.
When I'm asking somebody if they're retarded, I'm asking them if they're fucking retarded. Are you stupid? Are you slow?
Hey, retarded people don't have to be stupid. Oh, wait, no, they're not retarded. So that's the thing. We don't even call special individuals retarded anymore anyway. So
I have never in my life made fun of... Well, I don't...
I've never called someone...
I shouldn't make that ever statement.
I've never said retarded to a person that would be deemed such,
It's not in my nature to like... I don't think it's in my nature to make fun of people for stuff they can't help. But being stupid is something you can help.
Well, the thing, Fantinium, about in today's culture, everything is a trigger.
I'm triggered.
Everybody has a voice now.
Unfortunately.
Well, I mean, here we are.
Except for the Eritreans and some of the North Koreans.
People live and 35 people afterwards are going to listen to this, and they're going to listen to us say whatever we want.
Stupid stuff. Stupid.
And if you enjoy it, maybe follow us on one of these pages. Maybe give it to our Patreon.
I don't know, Jill.
Working on it.
I don't think Jill's correct. I don't think I've made fun of everybody.
You've made fun of everyone, I'm sure.
I don't think so.
No?
Not really. No.
You don't think you have a broad enough brush that you've gotten everybody at least once?
I mean, I've said stupid stuff about a lot of stupid things, but I don't think I've ever made fun of blind people.
Have you ever made fun of goths?
No, I like goths.
Oh, really? You're big on cloves. Clove cigarettes are cool.
They're all right. They're kindred spirits, man. Kindred spirits. It may not look that way, but it's true. Like when I was growing up in Texas, I was a metalhead. I was what would have predated the Heshers, right?
Oh, the Heshers.
Long hair, jeans, t-shirt, buttons on your denim jacket, that kind of stuff. And the goth kids, like they were braver than even the Heshers were, that they would dye their hair. They would dress in all black. They'd wear makeup and
they'd wear all black in like 125 degrees weather.
It's hot in Texas, but they'd also show up in public and they would wear this stuff in public. And like, I'm sorry, but in my opinion, they were braver than I was. So yes, they're kindred spirits. And I've always thought that the color scheme's real nice.
But the velvet, what do you feel about that? Are you down with wearing velvet in the summer weather?
First of all, is it a man or a woman that's wearing it?
Why? What should? Well,
because I am sexist as all get out. I'm a sexist son of a bitch.
Okay, very good.
If a man is wearing velvet, it better be a little pouch, that he wears around his hip or something.
You got to get one of when you turn the camera off. You should get a old picture of you with long hair so we can see what it looks like.
I don't know if I have any, to be honest.
Oh damn!
There are very few pictures of me from then. Just try to imagine it. It's fine.
Here's the Seinfeld reference for the night. Velvet. Okay, George.
I don't get it.
George Costanza wanted to wear velvet, and he found a girl that wouldn't have a problem if he just like draped himself in it all the
Velvet.
time. Velvet.
Dude, I have seen some women wearing velvet that's just you just want to snuggle.
I'm looking into this conversation. All right, everybody, welcome to Fantastic Comics Presents number 5.
We're just getting there.
We're just getting there.
All right, whatever.
I do have a mukbang.
Oh, good.
Wait. I'm sorry.
What?
This week, Dan Didio was fired from DC. We're going to have a conversation about that. He was the president, the co-publisher of the company. And we're going to have a return of mukbang. Yay.
Uh-huh. What is it? Never mind. I don't want to know.
And plus a medical update.
A medical
Stay tuned.
update.
It sucks because like Jeff Hunt was supposed to be here today.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's really sad news.
Oh.
For me, I was going to do the show from the store and he was going to hang out, and he had this really long blunt and we were going to smoke it for the show.
All right.
And I had this whole thing planned.
Yeah. And
he's
then
not here. So I'm here at home.
Well, you're at home.
It's nice to be able to come home, but I was.
Yeah,
really
but are you
looking
at
forward
home
to that
because he didn't bring a blunt?
really large blunt.
Why are you at home, man?
Oh, it's where my heart is.
Oh boy.
Oh no, my hat. It's where my hat is.
Where your ass is, that's for sure.
It is. I'm sitting down on it right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, mukbang. I'm gonna try.
Are we doing mukbang now?
Yeah, we can wait.
Let's
till
go.
the end of the show.
No, let's do it now.
All right, cool.
Let's do it now, just in case you get sick.
All right, sounds good. Let me just do this really quick.
Yeah.
All right, to everybody, if you are the kind of person that shares things with people,
whatever,
you might want to share this show. Please hit the like button or the thumbs up button down below.
Oh, I need to put.
And
thumbs
if you
up
have any friends that want to listen to us ramble on, or that would dig this kind of thing.
Hey, quick question before you eat that stuff. Are corduroys velvet?
No.
Are you sure?
No, but I don't believe so.
Because I love corduroy pants.
Man, I never got really thick corduroy pants.
No. The thick ones are for losers, right?
No,
sorry
those
if you're
are
in the
cool.
audience and you're wearing them right now.
No, those got way cooler, I think.
No, they didn't.
I went to I'm not as fond with corduroy as other people are. I went to a Lutheran school and we could wear slacks or corduroy.
Either or.
Yeah.
One or the
Not
other.
Jeans, right? Or anything like that. Sometimes you could wear shorts.
Corduroy shorts?
No, not well, I think they might have had those.
I'm intrigued.
No, but I didn't wear that. No.
Okay.
So I wore cords rather than the husky ones. That's what we called fat people back then. Fat kids. Fat kids are husky.
Yeah. Unless they're ladies, in which case they're huskettes.
I don't know.
What are they?
Husky.
Warm.
Husky.
Cuddly.
It's husky and husker. That's what there you go.
Husker.
I remember wearing the inside of the corduroy out pretty quick. It always seemed it's like it would get thin and the cord. That's why the thicker ones I think would be neater.
No, you're correct. They're talking about it in chat right now, and it goes.
That's right, Corey. Heavy set. I Husky. That was the department for boys. It was the Husky section.
Yeah, yeah. And then they came up with their own line of tools or something.
There you go. Yeah. So Fat Yule wore cords, and I don't like them. I kind of so unless they are going to be thick, like a hippie guy going to
Thank you,
rave,
Fantinuum.
like that.
Thank you. I like the thin ones, the small parallel lines. I love them. I think they're great, but they do wear out pretty fast. They're not exactly durable pants.
The other thing about corduroy, when you got I know there's been a comedian that said this back in the day, but this is it's true. When you're walking and your fat thighs, inside thighs, like zippers going up and down.
Yeah.
Zip.
Yeah.
Oh, it's true. It's a real thing.
Yeah. And if you run, that's how they wear out, though, right?
Right, sure.
Because I'm no longer thin enough that my legs don't touch when I'm standing straight, right?
I guess that's true.
I don't have an air gap there. I'm not bow-legged.
I don't know if I ever did. Okay, I'm showing you guys this. This is Alpine Strawberry.
Alpine Strawberry what? That looks like licorice with weed in it.
Cannabis infused.
Dude, I wouldn't eat a bunch of that if I were you.
Emerald Sky. Well, I was going to eat the whole bag.
Well, go ahead. Whatever. Let's see what happens.
Maybe I'll try a piece, and then maybe I might just...
What's the milligram count and stuff and per string or whatever?
Oh, shit.
No cussing. Just answers.
Sponsored
by. Exactly. This show is sponsored by We Get High.
Oh, yeah. I probably shouldn't have given them the free advertising. It's 10 milligrams per serving, and there's 10 servings.
So how is that a stick?
Man, they come like this.
Oh, Jesus. Is that a serving?
I would assume so.
So that's 10 milligrams.
Yeah. How much is 10 milligrams?
10 milligrams is enough that I don't generally take 10 milligrams. I usually go for 7.5. So I'd cut
half of this.
I would cut that either in half or into 3/4 and then save a quarter behind.
Well, I mean, the only reason why I'm really doing this is to see how it tastes.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Sure.
Well, scissors.
Except there's this awesome side effect of right?
Here, I'll do this. Hey, everybody.
The full effect, huh, Fantinuum? You ever done that? You ever tried that? It's called suppositories.
Yeah, he's too... Wait, what are you talking about?
He's talking about shoving that up your butt.
Oh, my God. This thing is, really wrapped in here.
You could do it. It wouldn't be a challenge, but you might get really sick.
Yeah, I don't want to get sick.
Is it clear?
No, it's got, sugar and stuff all in it. Here,
okay.
Let me go up. You see that?
I do. Yeah, it's not exactly in focus, but I get the idea.
The camera's next.
Do you know why they put sugar on the outside of them?
So it tastes good?
No, it's so it doesn't stick to other stuff.
Oh. All right. So this is Alpine Strawberry.
Does it taste like Alpine Strawberry?
Yeah.
Yeah?
It's good.
Are you a fan of strawberries?
Yeah.
Have you ever had an Alpine Strawberry?
No.
Yeah, I can
taste the weed now.
Yeah.
Takes a little while to get there.
Yum yum yum. Yum yum. I love edibles. Right. I love edibles. They're the best.
Emerald Sky.
Is that the company?
I guess so, yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Emerald Sky, for sponsoring this show.
No, they didn't. I bought it. I sponsored the show. Fantastic Comics sponsors the show.
We'll take
if I got something that I purchased, it's still Fantastic Comics. Screw Emerald Sky.
Dude, if they gave you money, you wouldn't put their little banner up over or underneath or anything?
Totally. Give me that banner right now. I'll put it up.
You should put it up. But when they ask you to take money, be like, yeah, all right, I'll take your money.
Just like any gummy, it takes a while for it to go down. Probably horribly stuck inside me. I don't like eating all the sugar as much. I'm trying to cut down a bit.
How's that going?
Whew. I don't know.
Not well.
Not well. No, well, the thing is like we were listening to NPR, Jill and I.
As all woke people should.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I call that my responsible person channel. I have an FM1 and FM2 in the car. This is part of the FM2. It's where the sports station will be, and talk radio and CalX and stuff like that.
Fascinating.
Yeah, exactly. So we were listening to a guy talking about how horrible fructose is.
Okay. You're talking about natural sugar.
Just about how he's talking chemically and how it just bonds and is bad and all this other stuff.
Okay.
So he was talking about cutting it out, and Jill looks at me and she's like, "Oh, we should cut out, sugar." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm right. I agree. Yeah, that's you're right. Let's do that." And then she's making cookies later on that night.
Woman.
We still have cookies. I didn't eat them all, but
that's right.
But when you get to the mukbang situation, it's a little different.
I mean, I think anything in moderation, right? Like sugar is really hard to cut out of your diet. Really, really hard. It's in almost everything you eat. Yeah. However, I would rather have a cookie than a candy bar. I'd rather have 2 cookies than a candy bar because you made them, right? Jill made them. You didn't make anything.
Yeah, those candy bars,
they're so good, but man, you don't know what's in those, to be completely frank. And the sugar that they're using, like, why do my teeth hurt when I eat a Reese's peanut butter cup?
Because you got cavities?
Doesn't hurt if I eat anything else. It's just a Reese's peanut butter cup. Why?
You're allergic?
I don't think I'm allergic, man, but it's questionable to me. Something's going on there. Like, I don't have sensitive teeth, but my teeth hurt. So I don't know what's going on.
Brand new Reese's peanut butter cup is good.
They're so good. They're so good. If there's a candy, Snickers bars and Reese's peanut butter cups, the little ones especially, in both of those cases. Oh,
God. Hershey's with almonds.
I'm not even hungry.
Jill, get some Hershey's with almonds while we're...
Yeah, go to the store. Stop working. Whatever
Don't do it. I'm just joking. Stop listening. Go get them.
Yes. Hey, Fantinium, does it happen with Reese's peanut butter cups, or is it any candy? Supercharged sugar. Yeah, it's possible. I was thinking it might be confectioner's sugar.
So it's like the uranium in the milk social circle.
Of course. Why didn't I think of that? Uranium.
Let's get
yummy. Does that mean I get a superpower?
Hershey owns the land. There you go. Hershey owns the land.
I want the superpower that comes with gamma radiation.
If you knew, oh yeah. See, that's the thing. Sometimes Jill, when she's making fudge, she doesn't realize that some people just do not like nuts in their fudge, or nuts. Period. Walnuts, that type of thing.
I think there's a limit to my sympathy to those people.
Yeah.
Like, okay. I'm not gonna bake a bunch of shit for people with no nuts in it.
All right, so I heard something really weird. I was listening to sports talk radio this time.
That is weird.
Somebody was saying on Twitter, some basketball guy or somebody, that they're like, what cookie could you add mustard to that would be okay?
Mustard.
And he quick said Oreo.
Oh, obviously Oreos.
Oreos, yeah, exactly.
Mustard.
What do you think about that? What would you
would
you add to Oreo?
Is this some kind of charity challenge where you gotta eat mustard on everything?
Jill said snickerdoodle. All right.
Actually, that did cross my mind too, because they're very subdued. There's not a lot of flavor there, so that might work. But why? Why, Yule?
Why would you even consider it? I mean, it sounds horrible.
I mean, are we talking Grey Poupon, yellow mustard? What are we talking about?
I mean, if we were sports talk radio and trying to kill a segment, we could talk about it. I was just kind of using it as an aside. Fortune cookie.
Smart.
You know, you might have accidentally had some mustard at a restaurant like that.
Absolutely.
And
Sweet
it might have
mustard.
got on your fortune cookie. So
Sweet
that
mustard.
could be a thing.
And
there is, obviously, the sweeten.
So you know what else cuts sugar really, really well is cinnamon.
I like cinnamon. All right.
I'm answering Fantinuum. He's like,
oh, I see.
The sweets. They cut the sweets.
So follow. Oh, wait. Let me get this done.
Yes. Now that we're thinking about it.
Let me get this off.
So mukbang done?
Yeah, mukbang done. It was pretty good.
So
follow Lul Stamp on Instagram if you want to know more about his food habits.
Or don't. It's fine.
That's right.
We get more information about podcasting than anything else on that channel.
What kind of podcast is that? The sci-fi fantasy
podcast? Ding dong.
Oh man, there is a hard chapter that we're working on right now. Let me tell you guys.
I haven't started it.
No. Okay, very good. Yeah, well, let's not talk about that.
Let's not talk about that.
Yeah, let's bore people with something that they're not even part of. All right, let's go to let's do one of these. Hold on a second.
Man, do you remember how good Dawkins was?
Okay, let's go to this.
They were so.
First you want to kill me, now you want to kiss me. Blow.
All right. That's what I'm telling my customers these days.
Blow.
No, not my customers.
Do you think that guy, do you like that guy?
Yeah. He's cool enough. I mean, he's
character
done stuff I really like. Oh,
not Bruce Campbell, the character.
Yeah, Ash. Ash is great. I mean, he's an ass.
Yes,
he's one of the best asses ever.
He's pretty great.
I mean, that's America's ass. You invented.
God, it is. It is.
Yeah.
It so is uniquely.
Yeah, I really like it.
Crazy.
And that, I mean,
are you smoking weed on top?
It was just a bite, and then no. Leave me alone.
Okay, I'll talk to you in an hour, man.
My back hurts.
Okay.
All right, Dan. All right. So
sorry that
I like Ash. Yes, Ash is great. Excuse me.
You were making fun of me for doing whippets, as I recall.
That was last week, right?
Yeah. I'm just playing catch up.
All right. It's these the thing about these little vape pens things, they really tickle the throat more than really get me lit.
Have you seen all the commercials lately on YouTube?
About what?
Vaping.
What about vaping?
I guess people they've been replacing cigarettes with vaping for a couple of years now, right?
Yeah, but that's not the same thing I'm doing.
No, I know. But I mean, there's still a medium that you have your active ingredient suspended in, right? Yeah. Anyway, so a lot of these people are, starting to develop problems, I guess you could say.
Well, they do it all the time.
And I know.
I mean, you're walking past and it's like, this is worse than the bus all of a sudden. And it smells of vanilla and shit.
Smells better. It smells more like pipe smokers have gathered, And I never minded pipe smoke because I always thought it smelled nice. But cigarettes smelled like crap. And okay, so there's this guy on YouTube who built this machine. It's basically like a lung machine to demonstrate what it looks like. Yeah. What it looks like to smoke one pack of cigarettes. And he's got this tube that's packed full of cotton balls, and the tube goes into it and comes out the other side, and he smokes through a pack of cigarettes that way. And then he goes through an equivalent, whatever that means, amount of vaping material. And the difference is astonishing. But I had a chemistry teacher. Okay, so before we get there, so the cotton is black where a pack of cigarettes went through, and there's a little bit of glycerin-y, fluid, watery looking stuff left over from the vaping, right? But I had a chemistry teacher that pointed out a long time ago that people freak out about diesel because it leaves these black puffs of smoke in the air. But she said that it is better for the environment than gasoline exhaust. Just because it looks like it's worse doesn't mean that it is. So I raise that question now when it comes to vaping. because, well, cancer's terrible, but so is getting sick when you're 17.
Yeah, I when it comes to those those vape cartridges or whatever, I mean, it's just
Where did they come from?
Where who huh?
I don't know.
It wasn't big tobacco because they don't like it at all.
No, of course they don't.
Somebody was, it had some ingenuity, and it was originally billed as a way to curb smoking, and at least it doesn't, reek like a cigarette, and you can go out and do one, and you don't have to be outside for like 10 minutes smoking a cigarette
because you can just puff.
I see the guys that use them outside my store, and they're like, they're out there for a few minutes. It's not a whole cigarette. But if they're hanging out with someone smoking a real cigarette, they're puffing the whole time too. Yeah. And then you're like, man, that thing's just like, but whatever.
I don't know if it was actually created to replace smoking.
It was definitely sold to people as that.
Yeah.
In fact, I remember specifically Juul. I mean, if you ever hear of a Juul ad on TV or on radio, it is always about, I've some testimonial about somebody curbing their smoking habits and all this other stuff. And, eat a stick of gum. If you can't get past it that way, you're stuck for a while. Let's see what we got here. We got Social Circle Gaming. What is he saying here?
He said they're different manufacturers with real competition.
Oh, yeah. Well, someone was telling me, a customer, I like this customer quite a bit. He was telling me how when, Marlboro finally makes that, when it federally gets allowed that you can sell marijuana.
Oh, yeah, they'll be there.
Those companies are ready, and you can expect to see prices go down. So
until they can corner the market, and then they'll raise the prices right back up,
without a doubt. And that's the idea. They'll
sell it
way long.
Yes, deep pockets.
The clubs will get hurt.
Deep pockets.
Clubs will go away.
Yeah.
If you're a big
who's going to stop that?
Of it,
is places like California. That's really, local government is the only way to really combat that.
Well, the problem is, though, if you're buying weed in California legally, that's so taxed so heavily.
They're going to tax the Marlboro stuff too.
It's but Marlboro is going to be willing to not pass it along to us for a lot longer. As a consumer, you have to realize that when you're buying from Amazon something cheaper than the other place,
yes,
it's only going to be that long until that place is gone. That's why
myopic
paperback books.
We're a myopic species. That's not going to matter to most people. It's their pocketbook that they care about.
Then you got to think ahead. You got to think longer.
No, they don't.
Well, that's fine.
And they won't.
I won't care about books later on. I just
when you're dead.
I mean,
right?
Whatever.
I'm packing up my whole library and I'm taking it with me to Valhalla or wherever I go when I die. I'm getting an extra size
funeral pyre,
big coffin. No, you can't burn books, man. That's rude. I'm gonna get a big coffin. No, let's get a mausoleum, but let's put it underground.
Well, what if the
really good ventilation? Like,
I want like a Viking funeral. Is it a Viking when they get like burnt out at sea
on a boat? Yeah,
a boat of books, maybe
a boat of books.
So then you can burn them, right?
Burning.
Yeah.
Is there a book you would burn? There are many that I would burn. Like you worked at
we
worked
at Half Price Books. We tore up books. I mean,
it's the same thing.
It's the same thing. Sometimes I'm like, if I particularly hated a book, I'll rip up the pages too.
Really?
Not all of them, just some of them. But it's because of those trash diggers that are out there trying to, you can salvage this and take it back to the store, blah blah blah. I
gotta tell you about the guy that I was outside smoking a cigarette back on Solano, and you remember how it was. They had the bins right there by the back stairs, and so I'd go out and sit on the stairs, and it was a lovely day, Saturday. I don't know, it's a nice day, And I was out there smoking a cigarette, but I remember I was in a really bad mood. And this guy and his kid, he like walks up, dumpy guy with his like little 2-3-year-old kid, and he like starts going through our recycling bins right then and there. And this was before we started tearing the covers off of all of our books. And oh my God, like I was infuriated. I was like, get out of here, leave now. I'm calling the police. Such a mean son of a bitch to him. And he was like, you don't have to be a jerk. And he stomped off. But I'm like, I do not want them digging through the trash.
No, I mean, it's not theirs.
It isn't theirs.
Exactly.
It isn't theirs. But at the same time, I am throwing it away. So
all right. So I wrote all this stuff about Dan Didio, and I stole some pictures off the internet, but
guilty.
I'm going to just talk to you guys about what happened. So this last weekend was Comics Pro. And Comics Pro, you remember that's the organization created for all of the comic store owners that want to be a part of it. So when we first started it, yeah, voluntary, but I mean money, dues, whatever.
Whoa.
To do it. So they get together and they'll have people come and talk from the different companies and stuff like that. The only reason why I'm telling you about it this weekend is because on Friday, they were having the meeting. I wasn't there because, I don't ever do those things. And Dan Didio was supposed to be at that thing and give like an hour-long presentation to all the different store guys, and everything. Hey, DC's doing great. Let me tell you about all this stuff that's going to be going on. We got this person, and we're really excited about this thing that's starting, all this other stuff. He was fired, and DC pretty much didn't even show up to the whole thing.
Wait, why did he get fired?
Why didn't he get fired? That's the question.
I don't know. What does he do?
Well, he was the co-publisher in 2011 or 2010. Him and Jim Lee and Jeff Johns all made co-publisher.
Okay.
And in
That's
2011,
a trinity.
yeah, it is. It really is. And the trinity of DC is really Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. So these interlopers are here in real life. But Dan Didio is pretty good as far as like keeping the ship running and getting things done. He was very successful when he was instrumental in creating this series called 52, which was 52. 50. This is the beginning of everything. 52, which was a weekly series that had like 4 different writers and a whole bunch of different artists.
Mm-hmm.
And it was all like, put together by Keith Giffen, and every week a new issue came out. There was no lateness. It was all very good, all very well received. Everybody liked it, and it sold well. And then he did it again with something called.
This was in what year?
20. I think that was like 2005 when that happened.
Oh, that's a good while ago.
So yeah, so he's like his beginning was as like a TV guy, and he did Reboot. Remember that book? Here, let me share the screen.
No. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so let me just get this up. All right, and I'll share the screen.
And why is Ryan so gleeful that this guy got canned?
I don't know, but he was really digging what I had to say. That's Dan Didio.
No wonder they fired him.
Here he is again.
That's better.
All right, so he worked on Reboot back in the day.
No bells, man.
It was like on ABC. It's like some Canadian organization that put this out. It also had Brendan McCarthy, who did Shade the Changing Man covers. He did all the designs on this.
Okay.
All right. So in 2002, he became the vice president editorial. There's going to be all these terms that I don't know what they are. I mean, they just create these stupid.
It's a title. I got you. I got you. Yeah.
Anyway, he wrote Superboy from 94 to 100. And 100 was its last issue, which began his quest to kill off all the legacy characters. And for anybody that pays attention to that, they should like that.
Is Superboy a legacy character?
Yeah, kind of, sort of.
Okay.
In 2010, he was named co-publisher with Jim Lee and Jeff Johns. There they are. And then there's that 52 we were talking about.
I remember that cover.
He had a whole bunch of other really successful books that came out. Infinite Crisis. There was stuff that went on in Infinite Crisis that kind of pissed a lot of old timers off. Green Lantern Rebirth by Jeff Johns. And
Unholy Trinity. Look, it's on the cover. What is this? Illuminati?
Exactly. Yeah, there you go. Ethan Van Sciver.
Oh my God.
Then they had another hit in Flash Rebirth.
Proof.
Sinestro Core War.
That's a lot of people's names.
Grant Morrison came over and did Batman. It was a real good long run that most people really enjoyed. Then there was Batman and Robin. So all these things, Final Crisis, these are all really big series that did really well. And then, yeah, and then he did things like, it's not like he's writing it, but he's allowing these things to happen. And see, this is Speedy, Arsenal, whatever he was called at the time. He was Green Arrow's protege. And he had this big old thing where he basically gets all his arms ripped off and legs ripped off, and he basically dies. Yeah. And then when the New 52 started up, Wally West, who was the Kid Flash, or the younger Flash to Barry Allen, since Barry Allen was the big deal now, they just kind of left Wally West behind, and that pissed a lot of younger old timers up, made them upset.
Is that you?
No, although Wally West was the majority of my Flash growing up. I did read a lot of Barry Allen, and I really liked that character, so it wasn't as upsetting. The thing about the New 52 is when they launched it, it was they tried to play, Dan Didio tried to play coy with everybody. He was like, he came off this series, this mini-series called Flashpoint. And in Flashpoint, Barry Allen changes history, and as a result, when he comes back, everything's messed up. So then he has to fix it all again. So when he comes back, there's a New 52 afterwards, and then Didio's like, that's not because of Flashpoint. And then he's all the continuity still exists. He's all, these things look different, and we're kind of changing up the history and the timeline, but everything that you ever read is still in effect. And you're like, well, how can that be? Especially since the Justice League is like year zero, and then everything else is like 5 years later and all this other stuff. And it's ridiculous, and he's just not, he's not being truthful. Is this a reboot? Is this a relaunch? What the hell's going on here? Is everything I said, I remember true, or is it not? And it's like, that is the bad have your cake and eat it too kind of situation. And so everybody called him on his bullshit. Later on, there was like editorial problems. Gail Simone, who was writing Batgirl, she was kind of like let go. There's a lot of reasons for it, but she came back, and that upset a lot of people.
Was she any good?
To me personally, I've never liked Gail Simone as a writer.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that really like her, but for the most part, if she's not doing a main character, she doesn't sell that well, at least as far as I've ever seen. But again, I've said, Fantastic Comics, Comic Relief, when I worked there, is different because we aren't always superhero stores. Some of the bigger books will be something else.
Right.
So that was kind of a problem with editorial. Rob Liefeld, who got picked up to do the New 52 books, was causing all sorts of problems. He is very gleeful right now about Dan Didio. I mean, when the news broke, he was like on Twitter, oh, it's hilarious. If you want to see, you could just tell. He's like click, click, click with his fingers, and he's just like ear to ear, big redheaded grin. And yeah, so he was really pissed off about the way he was treated by editorial. And then the New 52 ended, and there was DC Rebirth. This was more headed by Jeff Johns and less by Dan Didio. And it was, and the thing about the New 52 was it was created to help sales. And at first it was really, really successful. But by the end, when they started Rebirth, the sales were lower than it was before the New 52.
Okay.
So then we had DC Rebirth. This was more like a return to the past with acknowledging that the New 52 still existed. It was more of the Superman that people wanted to read. It was more of the Teen Titans people wanted to read. Wonder Woman was cool with Greg Rucka coming back on it and stuff like that. And then, like, speaking of Greg Rucka, for him to come back to Wonder Woman, one of the things was he was given like full creative like control, basically. And this included him calling BS to Frank Cho, who was drawing the variant covers for Wonder Woman. They weren't even like the main cover or anything. They were just a variant cover that could or couldn't be purchased by, didn't need to be purchased by stores. And here, let me see if I can
see what's going on here.
All right, so Wonder Woman. So the one on the right is the original drawing. And as you can see, there's a panty line.
Uh-oh.
And this pissed Greg Rucka off something fierce. He got Frank Cho off the book. People pissed at Greg Rucka. People pissed at Frank Cho. And they cropped the image, as you can see right here.
Mm-hmm.
But the important thing is Wonder Woman does not wear underwear. Okay.
That's the important thing?
Well, just remember that.
Okay.
So these are like things that have been happening. And then Batman Damned. I tried to get a penis picture of him, but it's like all blocked. I don't know what to do to make the picture, seeable.
Oh, I do.
So we can talk about it some other day. So this was another problem that happened. Black Label's been confusing. Vertigo relaunched with the Sandman universe, and now it's part of Black Label. Vertigo's dead. They hired all sorts of perverts to work for that company, and they got called on. Oh, yeah, dude.
Perverts?
Dude, pervs. So one of the artists of, I can't remember what book it was now. Oh, I can't remember. Anyway, this artist sent an ass shot of his on Twitter to another fellow artist that wasn't friends with each other.
Yeah, I remember this.
And, it's just like nobody gets reprimanded. Then you find out, then it gets reprimanded. Books get canceled. Books get canceled before they're ended. And then you're like, what the hell happened? And then, Vertigo's dead. And now all we have is this Black Label. And they're subsuming all these books like Watchmen from back in the day, which was never a Vertigo book. And now it's a Black Label book. And it's gone through all these like it's a freaking, I don't need to say anything bad about things. You have, I don't know. It's really upsetting. And on top of it, DC sales recently have been kind of crappy. And, there was this promise that BMB, Brian Michael Bendis coming back, was going to make a difference, and Superman's been lagging in sales, and he has control of a crap ton of books. And I'm not a fan of those, and I'm not a fan of Bendis, and it's very upsetting to old time. I mean, I picked up one of his Supermans to see if I'd want to read it again because I was so starving for Superman, and it was like, ugh, oh, yeah, just sort of.
No good, huh?
No, it was not good, and it's horrible.
Do you know anybody that likes Bendis?
Yeah, there's all sorts of people. Like there's people that haven't got to the point yet. Yeah. I find that in the store it's less and less, but yeah, I don't know anybody in the room. I mean, I really hate. There have been good Bendis stories.
Even a broken clock is right twice a day.
Well, he just. There have been great Bendis stories like this. Think of the entirety of the Rainbow, not just the pot of gold.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. Okay. Let's go. I like rainbows.
Okay, not just the pot of gold, the entirety of it.
Yeah, the whole thing.
And that is a Bendis story. But if you want something with like gumdrops along the way, something to pick up that isn't just sweet, a little savory with the sweet, something to balance out, a little alcohol, a little vino with my water or something like that. That's not Bendis. It's just like this whole thing. It's just a smattering.
I don't really get it, but I mean, I think I figured
I'm
out that By rainbow, you meant something that was cloying sweet. I get you now. It took me a minute, but I'm with you. I
I
followed.
was trying to think of the whole everything, and that's a Bendis thing. And you look at it, and it's like Ryan says down here, I like Bendis's Daredevil run. Yes, but Ryan, tell me one moment in that story that you like. You know, what was the thing that you liked the best?
What if he
You know?
can? What if he can? What if he
Probably
remembers
can say something.
something specific?
But
Well, let's see how long it takes him to type it in.
How does it compare to a Frank Miller Daredevil scene? And how many different elements of a Daredevil story can you remember from a Bendis story to the Frank Miller classics? You know, and maybe you're more of the Anacenti John Romita Jr. fan. If you like that run, were there more things? You know, who did Bendis create? You know what he did? He killed the White Tiger. He killed a Hispanic, a POC. Why is he always killing the POC?
Hatred.
What is
man.
wrong with Bendis?
Hatred.
Yeah. And
No,
then he just, okay, here we go.
I know why that works, but it's not hatred.
Fewer, yeah, definitely. Fewer titties than Miller's. I agree.
Is Miller one of the perverts you're referring to?
Mm-mm.
Who are the perverts over at Vertigo?
I don't need to name names. It was
were they genuinely perverted, or were they just
no one guy
like
it was I don't want to well, I wouldn't
don't say any names. You don't have to say any names. It's fine. Just
No, I wasn't going to say names. There was like sexual stuff. Definitely.
Okay, that's human nature. I'm not offended yet. Let's keep going. What else did you get?
What?
I mean, what are we talking about here? You said perverted.
All right.
Were they genuinely like weirdos?
You know what? To me, nobody is. Actually, I really shouldn't have said that. I was kind of just saying it for effect, partially, but also so that you can know about the noise that was occurring around them. Less from me saying it and kind of like the attention.
That helps a little bit.
That's what I really meant when I was saying perverts.
I don't know.
Not me personally.
I didn't understand that. Like, to me, that was you saying that they were perverts.
I appreciate you helping me out with that. You know, that's a good example of what I was. So these are like the things that have been going on with Dan Didio, and on top of it, AT&T bought Warner Brothers and DC.
Is that a bad thing?
Well, AT&T, from what I understand, is not doing very well financially, and they've taken on a bunch of other things that aren't doing so very well financially.
So let me tell you what happens when, as a company, you're not doing really well, and you're like, let's buy up a bunch of other things, and maybe we'll do better. They don't. They don't.
So what do you do with those things?
You sell off those things later on to make... You like ride through a couple of really bad years, and then at the end of it, you sell all those things off, and then your liquid cash goes through the roof, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, they're doing so well!" Right? That's why you do that, and then your stock goes up. That's the goal. The hope is the artificial. They're doing so well, and then trick people into buying your stock.
There was definitely a Superman editor that was having problems with his female co-workers. In fact, from what I understand, nobody that was a woman was given an office near his.
Were they wearing too many clothes for him?
I don't know, but it could. I mean, I don't know if he ever actually Weinstein them or anything like that, but he might have, like, wanted to.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that.
That's where you go. Well, I mean, we can have that conversation some other time. These are just, again, more of the noise that's been going on since Dan Didio's been around.
Yeah.
And that Superman editor, he was grandfathered in, he's been around a long time. Mm-hmm. So, and on top of it, like you said, so what does Dan Didio have to do? He has to say, hey, I'm worth something here at this company. My company that I'm working for is worth something to you. And I think we had a conversation not too long ago when it was like at South by Southwest where the Marvel guys, Joe Quesada and CB Cebulski, were talking to basically their betters, their Disney betters, and basically saying, this is why we're important. This is important. And Joe Quesada doesn't have quite the same job he used to have. Kevin Feige's involved with like all of Marvel now.
Yeah.
So anytime he wants to drop the hammer, that's the thing. And you kind of feel that that's what's going on with DC right now. So Dan Didio, what did he do? It was reported by Bleeding Cool, and usually I'm shitting on them. So for me to say that this is something that's actually happening, anyway, they're going to do their 5th generation of superheroes.
What?
There's not going to be the Bruce Wayne Batman, but it's going to be the Lucius Fox Batman.
Okay.
And he's black.
Oh,
that's what people are going to say.
How'd that
Because
happen?
Lucius Fox is a character in the Batman mythos. So for him to be Batman, it would just, let you know that he is. And there's going to be a new Wonder Woman, not the Wonder Woman that we know. And there's going to be a new Green Lantern. And it's going to be, it's just, it's more and more of the same. Not even the same Superman.
What
It's
do you mean?
suggested that this first it'll be a new, like John Kent will be Superman.
How,
but not
though?
even the same Batman. It's just
Is he as powerful as his dad?
no.
Okay, then he can't be Superman.
Well, maybe someday he can.
No,
Well, he gets strong.
he's not
Listen.
pure enough. Yes.
Okay, so anyway, let's not get too caught up in this. That was supposedly the attempt to say, "Hey, look, we're an IP farm. We're better." I mean, DC makes money.
That's a good point.
They don't make a lot of money, but they make money. And then when they want to use them in their movie division, it's already made for you.
Right.
Look at all this stuff. And it's not working. People are less than impressed with the rollout and what it sounds like the 5th generation is going to be introduced to the public on Free Comic Book Day.
Okay.
For Saturday in May, everybody.
Yep.
So that is, what's going on. But
they sound desperate.
And it does sound desperate.
It
and
does.
AT&T, it's like you said, man, they sell off. They're like, you know what? Let's cut off this division. Let's farm out these comic books to other people so that they can pay us to produce them.
Yeah.
And we still get our IPs out of this. Wouldn't that make more sense?
Do you remember when Wizards of the Coast was purchased by Hasbro?
I remember. All right, so hold on. I remember when TSR, which was Advanced Dungeons and Dragons,
they invented Dungeons and Dragons.
Were bought out by WotC.
Yes, I remember that as well.
The Coast.
Yeah.
And the first thing all D&D players said, "Oh, great! Now Dungeons and Dragons is going to be like Magic."
Oh, right, but that didn't happen at all.
It didn't happen at all.
But they got rid of.
Then WotC was purchased by Hasbro.
Yeah.
And Magic the Gathering became one of Hasbro's #1 selling products.
Sure.
Okay, so what do you want to tell me about it?
Well, TSR, Dungeons and Dragons around that time, they put out a new edition, and it was something fabricated by people in offices who've never played the game that were like, let's milk this thing for as much money as we can. New edition, boop, and they put out 4th edition, and it didn't do well.
They did their best to sell it as this is everybody was like, this is like tabletop, or this is like computer gaming.
It was obvious,
like Warcraft.
Many people that it was, yes, it was hobbled together in a not very good way. It was not fun to play. It was fairly ridiculous. I mean, you remember my complaints about it at the time, I'm sure.
It was the sameness for me that I didn't like. Everybody had
everything was identical. It didn't matter. It didn't matter.
I mean, you're an up close fighter, and
there's no point in playing that game.
Yeah,
there's no point. It was
supposed to be cooperative.
D&D's already cooperative. It is.
Well, not the
it is. You go out as a party. You go out as a party. Nobody goes out by themselves. It's cooperative. You have to play as a team. Oh, anyway, man. The point is, this is exactly, it's similar. It sounds very similar what AT&T is doing to DC Comics. They're milking it.
Yeah. And the fear is that DC Comics won't be publishing comics in the future.
Oh.
And that maybe it will just be other people. So get your money together so that you can get that Z-list character you've always wanted to write a comic book about. Woo! Angel and the Ape, baby. They're probably more like a Q. A Q.
I don't get it.
A, B, C, D.
You're talking about down at the end of the alphabet?
Yeah.
Like that kind of a third stringer?
Z-lister.
Still in the minor leagues?
Well, I mean, it'll probably cost quite a bit still.
It's actually Little League. It's T-ball type stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go. There's my my brief synopsis on the. So Dan Didio's fired now. It looks like it wasn't going so well.
It's just because he couldn't explain what he did there. Is that what it was?
I think it was just time. He had other editors are either they quit. There's the staffing wasn't very good. Maybe morale wasn't good. They tried that Age of New Heroes initiative. Remember that one? That was another failure. Where they're like, hey, we're going to make all these cool characters that are very reminiscent of Marvel. And, yeah. Are we on? All right, very good. ATN looks like he's... Let me just make sure. Dun, dun, dun. Maybe take him out. Remove from stream. Oh, yeah. Poor ATN. All right, good. As long as it's not me, I'm feeling pretty okay about it. So why don't I show you a couple of comic books that are coming out tomorrow? Let me just do this. Sorry, guys. Dun, dun. So that opening bit was a song called Dinosaurs in Love. If you didn't see that, I'm sorry. It's at the very beginning of the show. Let me just do this really quick.
Tell me this. How can you sleep with my best friend and then tell me about it? Sure, I told you about it, baby. But don't shoot the messenger.
Oh, yeah. Don't shoot the messenger. So first up, we have Avengers number 31. Oh, finally. So this is referencing the Iron Man. He has been in this this is probably like an old story of Iron Man. Years ago. Weeks earlier. Oh, yeah, I see that. So it's going to be like that ancient Iron Man. And it's going to be like all his incarnations. Because Tony Stark has entered a cave recently, and we really haven't seen him. In fact, he gave some armor to Natasha so that she could be Black Widow armor in space. Pretty sweet art, though. I think it has a few other artists in it. So if you're a fan of Jason Aaron and want to see what's going on with Iron Man, and it isn't the Dan Slott stuff that's going on, you might want to check that out. Okay, so next up, we have a Burger comic book from Dark Horse Comics. This is tomorrow. It's written by Peter Milligan, and I'm not sure who this artist is, Airboss. I read the very beginning, probably about the first 5 pages. There's this little love letter that Peter Milligan writes in the beginning. And we are following this kid here who is a musical prodigy. And there's all this conversation going on in here about playing a piece. His sister is supposed to come with him to a recital, or it's like he's going to go to an institute. And if he's approved, but he needs his sister for good luck. Anyway, she's sick and she's not going to make the trip with him. That's about as far as I've gotten. I like the art. I'm a Peter Milligan fan. And it's funny that he would be doing a Burger book because he recently did a Black Crown comic book that I thought was not very good. That was done by IDW Comics, and it was Shelley Bond who was the editor there. And she was the heir apparent to Burger when it came to Vertigo comic books. Falcon and the Winter Soldier comes out tomorrow. This is written by some guy named Landy, some person named Landy, I should say. Derek Landy and Federico Vicente. That's the artwork. I'm just pointing this out if you're interested. I'm assuming it's going to be a little spy-like. And if you're a fan of Sam Wilson or the Winter Soldier, you should check that out. This is New Mutants number 8. It is the beginning of what I assume is a new story written by Ed Kissin-Brisson with art by, Faila. The artist on New Mutants has been pretty good. The artists, because there's different stories going on. So the Hickman written ones are drawn by a different person who's doing a little bit more, I think it's Rod Reus. All right. Oh, this is nice. Nice little action page. Armor's in it. Check that out. New Mutants is pretty good. This is part 2 of a 5-part. Is it 5-part? Yeah, a 5-part miniseries, Daily Bugle. And it's written by this guy named Matt Johnson. And I told you last week, or the week before, I can't remember. He's the guy who wrote Incognegro. And this is more kind of like reporting action, although there is some Spider-Man stuff going on. And I enjoyed the first issue. The art was kind of I wish I would have reviewed issue number 39 of Amazing Spider-Man. I reviewed number 38, and I've been really enjoying Nick Spencer's run recently. I think it's been very good. The last issue was funny. Peter Parker Spider-Man agrees to do a podcast with Jonah Jameson, and of course, we all know now that J. Jonah knows who Spider-Man is, that he's Peter Parker. And they're basically friends. But it doesn't take long for them to get at each other's throat, and it's pretty darn funny. So I would recommend checking out Spider-Man. Hey, Etienne.
Hello.
So it's still on me anyway. So the artist on this is named Coelho. I am a little bit upset with just how often they're willing to change illustrators on this book. Like, is this Ryan Ottley's book? What's the guy's name? I can't think of his name right now, who got hired from DC to come over. Oh, Gleason, Patrick Gleason. I thought he was getting Amazing Spider-Man. And I'm sure it's just because they're ramping up to some ridiculous event that's going to come out, 8 times in a month or something like that. But last issue of Spidey was good. We sold out. I ordered some more. So I'll get some in a couple weeks, but I didn't extra order on these. So, the rule at the store going forward, if it's something you want, you better put a hold on it. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This Jenica character was created recently. And I don't think that's what Jenica looks like. It doesn't matter. Anyway, new character. New miniseries featuring that character. Check it out. Oh, yeah, let me get that Dan Didio out of there. Jeez. This is the comic book hook, everybody.
Jeez, Dan.
All right, really quick. Swamp Thing giant-sized. Mark Russell's been writing the first storyline that's been continuing. Let's just make sure. Oh, yeah. And the first issue of this, which is sold out and we can't get, is really, really good. And I still have an issue number 2, and then here's number 3.
Great cover.
Yeah, Swamp Thing is really good. He just really looks good in comic books. And then there's like all these other stories in here. Hold on a sec. All right. And there's Zatanna. So, the kind of like the magic characters of DC. X-Men. There's a giant-size X-Men comes out tomorrow. And it looks like this is the alternate cover, the variant cover. And here we have Emma Frost, and then Jean Grey, and then Storm. And who doesn't love the women of the X-Men? I know I do. What do you think?
Me?
Yeah.
Man.
Who's your fave? Don't worry about it.
Yeah, exactly.
X-Men, everybody. Did you hear me say something about X-Men? Because number 2 of X-Men Fantastic Four comes out. The X-Men travel to go meet up with Franklin Richards and just let him know that, a place is always open on the island for him. And then we find out that Reed Richards has screwed with his mutant code so that he can't just willingly pass through the portals to Krakoa. So he's like basically altering his kid's physiology without his permission. Plus an X-Men comes out. Oh my gosh, if you like X-Men, there's a lot of it. So there you go. That's the comic book hook, everybody. Yeah. Sound that horn.
Beep. We should get a foghorn.
Well,
those things are very loud.
Everybody, if you want me to get a foghorn, you can either send it to my place of business.
No foghorns, please.
Or you can give to our Patreon.
So are there any, what are the decibel rulings for the part of Berkeley where you're moving to?
I don't know, but
can you whip out a foghorn at 8 a.m. and we're open? Can you do that?
I don't think so, and I wouldn't be there anyway, so it's really a moot point.
You're right.
Eugene informed me that he thinks I might be able to get away with the sign, so everything's good there.
Not neon, just a sign.
Well, the neon signs, the lit signs that we have.
Okay.
The LED.
Yeah, those aren't neon.
Well, even still,
why do they care?
Lit in the because they do. Also, there's a lady across the street that owns some property, and she has signs up, and it's like nutbaggery, from what I understand. So I can't wait to let you know all about that. For those of you, pay attention to the ticker down below. I'm going to also say it out loud. But if you need more Yule in your life, you can follow me on Twitter at Big Blue Yule, Instagram at Filthy Burger. Yeah. Or just follow the Yule Carter channel on YouTube. It's all there on the bottom. Anything about that?
I follow Fantastic Comics.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm just.
I don't think I follow Yule.
Well, every once in a while, I do something that isn't so store approved. Maybe just something that lends a little more insight into my life. Maybe more than you want to know. Dog pictures also. It's not all gizmo on this show. Is it?
No.
No, it's not.
Not just.
It's not just, but on my Instagram feed, it's a whole lot more
of that.
Not of him barking necessarily. You can also follow Gizmo at Gizmo Berkeley on Instagram. That is Eugene doing a funky Gizmo site. So Gizmo Berkeley also.
Gizmo Berkeley, got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
So these are all the things you can do if you need more of us in your life. But I mean, I can't imagine anybody really does.
My mom might, but I doubt it.
Jesus, that's because she has so many arms and hands.
She has enough to keep her busy. She doesn't need to pay attention to what I'm doing.
That's right. Gizmo is a star. I agree, Corey. He is. Anyhow, I think this is probably a good place to maybe end the show.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Don't forget, next week we will be on again at 8, and who knows, maybe we'll have another person in the
Pacific.
Room. Pacific, yes, Pacific. Anyway,
9
thanks for showing up. Hit the like button and tell a friend.
Yes. Bye. Good night.